Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Jake Nellett of Walled Lake Central Boys Basketball. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing well. I know we're entering into districts this week. How have things been going this year?
Good. Definitely had some highs and lows. Started off with a blowout loss to Novi, but since then we've grown a ton as a team. Had some good wins along the way. Just beat Milford in a really close game to win the LVC. We'll share it with Mott. But spirits are high. We're just locking into West Bloomfield. It's gonna be a way different type of game than what we're used to.
Yeah. What was like some of the biggest successes so far this year? Because, I know you guys had a ton of success last year, set a lot of big records and stuff like that. And then this year, I know that a lot of the starting lineup was gone, and then you had a lot of success still. Even though some new guys kind of stepped up in roles that maybe they're not used to. And obviously you were because you started, but what was that like to continue the success, especially when you had to replace a lot of guys?
Yeah, very thankful to sort of have like two completely different starting lineups, but still be able to have the same result junior and senior year of winning, a good amount of games. But this season we beat Summit Academy at North Farmington in a really good game, probably the most fun game of my career. They're a really good team, and we beat them, I don't know, maybe by two or something. Brother Rice game at home was super fun. We were up in the third quarter and then kind of got away from us, ended up losing by like 10. But Notre Dame Prep, another good win. But yeah, just a lot of good wins. But we've had our fair share of losses too.
Yeah. Being a senior this year, and I gotta ask you, like entering this season, like was it different entering this year, knowing that this is it?
Yeah, it's definitely these last couple games have been kind of weird, like looking around trying to soak it all in. Like this is really like the end of my basketball career. I almost can't even really like fathom it. But it's been great. I kind of didn't know what to expect with the new starting lineup, but the rest of the guys and the new team we've sort of constructed has been amazing, and it's a great send off. I couldn't be happier, really.
Yeah, I mean, I know obviously it's not over just yet, but you've said it. You're not continuing your basketball career. I mean, when it ends, and that's it. What's that like knowing that the end is very near?
Um, Little nerve wracking. I can't lie, against Milford, I did get a little nervous towards the end of the game because that was our last home game, and I'm like, and we were down one maybe entering the fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
so I was like, man, I cannot go out on a loss. But it has also pushed me like in the mock game when we went into overtime, knowing that these are my last couple games ever. It's really kind of pushing me to like try to take control of the game and not be so passive as I have been a little bit this season.
Yeah. Also, I think this year, just I know you got a lot of stuff going on outside of basketball. Um, you're are you doing things that you never thought you would do?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I'm doing my school's musical this spring, which is very going to be very interesting. But I'm having a blast doing it, stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Why did you decide to do that? Because it's like, not every day an athlete would go and try something like that. But I mean, we're starting to see that kind of stuff. Is it just like, have you always been up for that, or is it just like, here we go?
Kind of just like here we go. I mean, in the spring, I've always had AAU, pretty intense schedule of traveling, so now I don't have that. So I do have a bit of free time, and I've always been a musical guy, playing instruments and stuff. And I don't know, I just felt like the time was right, and also my mom, she's big into musicals and stuff, so she gave me a little bit of encouragement. Um, but I just thought it something that could be really fun for me to do.
Yeah, because the thing is, there's a lot of things that I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many weeks out until like the first show is. But are you like ready to, there's a lot of aspects that go into that. Like the make and are you ready to have makeup on your face and
It's definitely
try to
going to be
memorize
a
all the lines and singing and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, well, we've been actually having rehearsals for the past like month or a little over. So I've had to like do that with basketball practicing. So I've had some long days, but the musical is in April, like mid-April. So it's definitely going to ramp up in terms of like the time spent towards it. But I'm excited for it. I think it's just a new experience. Last year, high school, might as well do it.
We may have to have you on later on to talk. Maybe maybe after how it all goes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
But we got this year, like, has like preparing for games changed, like how you like mentally get ready for a game, knowing that it is your last year?
Yeah, a little bit. I try not to overthink things because sometimes I can get in my head a little bit and be like, "Oh, this is the last time I'm going to say South Lyon East or something. I'm never going to be able to play these guys again, or I'm never going to play on this court." And if I sort of ramp it up on my head, that tends to like hinder my performance. So I try to just stay loose, listen to music, and just sort of enjoy it, stay in the moment.
Yeah, I know obviously, like, when you look back at everything, and obviously it's not over just yet, and maybe I'll ask this when you come back on later if you're so willing. Um,
Mhm.
when you look back at your career thus far, what are some of the things that you're always going to remember? Like, what's the biggest moment from this season, you think, so far?
This season, definitely the mock game because it just felt like it felt like a March Madness game to me because it was just we were trading buckets back and forth. They got a tip in at the buzzer to send it to overtime, and then in overtime I got a couple and ones, and that was it. So definitely that game. And Mott's a great team too. They always roll out a good group, and so just a super intense game, super fun. So probably that good student section.
So, um, going into this, like, what's the biggest improvement you made this year?
Me personally, I feel like the conference had every game. I'm usually getting a double sent to me, which is a little different than last year. Some games, last year I faced a lot more single coverage where I could just take my guy in the post, but teams, especially the second time around, as soon as I put the ball on the floor when I'm posting up, I got a guy coming from behind me. And I've struggled a little bit with that this season, but I'm starting to adjust to it and making that skip pass, which I did do a little last year, but I'd say that's probably it. Dealing with the double teams and finishing through sometimes because sometimes I'm going up with two guys on me, and not always going to get the foul call, so I got to finish through some contact. So I'd say those are what I improved on.
Yeah. So, going into this, what is it meant to play for Central, especially after two really successful years of playing? I mean, regardless of what happens the next week, how would you feel about, you regardless, you've had one of your best times playing.
Yeah, I've loved it. I've been fortunate enough to play for 4 years on varsity. My first year, we were 4-16, I think, and so it's pretty sweet. And then the next year, we improved to 9-13, and then we make the big jump to whatever we were, 20-5 maybe, and now to end this year with around that same amount of wins. It's super cool to see how I've sort of been a part of this program. Developing and improving year after year, and the coaching staff and all my teammates. It's been really cool to like spend this much time with really cool people.
Yeah. Um, and finally, like, what is it going to be like approaching this game against West Bloomfield? What is it going to be like going out there knowing that it can end at any moment?
Yeah, they're a team that can go on runs really quickly. They have two extremely skilled guards and a good big man. So we're definitely going to have to just be able to like roll with the punches. Like we know we're going to get trapped and there's going to be a lot of hand checking, but we just got to go through with it. We have sets set up and we have goals in mind for the game and strategies on how we're going to combat their physicality. And they like to get in transition. It's going to be a dogfight, and I'm just super excited for it. It's going to be a shootout too because they got some shooters. But we're just all ready. We've been watching film all week, and we're really excited.
All right. Um, well, Jake, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us, and we'll catch up with you in about a couple months.
Yeah, thank you for having me.